You're listening to Women in Wellness, a program to help you create gorgeous growth for your blissful business in health and wellness. I'm Dr. Gabby, holistic health expert and founder of Women in Wellness, a one-of-a-kind course and community designed to empower and inform you about how to build a purposeful and profitable holistic business. I'm very excited for today's interview. I've invited a brilliant guest, Dr. Michele Leno. Michelle's a psychologist and founder of DML Psychological Services. She helps busy professionals to feel inspired, recognize their value, and lead healthy and productive lives. Hi, Michele.
Hi, Gabby.
How's
Thanks
it going?
Great, great. There's actually sunshine here today, so I'm enjoying this day already.
That's great.
Yeah.
So I know, because I know you, that you're so much more than just a psychologist. And I'm wondering if you could tell us how you became a psychologist, why you care about wellness, and maybe how you integrate those two.
Okay. I was always interested in people, I guess. I learned it at a really early age. I was actually going to go into law at first, imagine that. And then I decided to go into psychology. Even I became more serious about it during undergrad because I had so many wonderful professors. And so I just decided, okay, maybe I need to go all the way with this. I did not always consider myself a wellness psychologist. I was more interested in diagnosing and treating psychopathology because that's what most of the great psychologists were doing. And but as I started to grow personally and professionally, I realized, hey, there's more to this. Not everybody is going to fit in a specific box or diagnostic criteria. And there are people that are struggling with everyday situations that need to be addressed, that are causing them to feel stuck and just stressed out and wanting to give up. And so that person needs help too. And we've all been there. I mean, we talk about things like seasonal affective disorder. Well, that doesn't always get diagnosed. And, it can be very temporary, but when it kicks in, it can be very, very, very stressful and overwhelming. So I started to think, well, hey, maybe if we incorporate some everyday activities, or incorporate some activities into our everyday routine, rather, that will allow us to manage stress as it arises.
Right. And it's so important to manage this stress, right? Because this is what's causing us to get off balance, like with our mind and our body and everything. And you see the big picture, right? That holistic picture.
Exactly. It's not about, hey, I'm stressed out right now, so I'm going to go and work out, or I'm going to call somebody and, let them know how overwhelmed I feel. It's more about doing something regularly that will put you in a position to manage that stress as it arises.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about regularly. What does that mean? How do you incorporate wellness into your daily life?
Okay, so for me, I'll use an example. I do yoga, and I do it all the time. I don't do it just when I'm feeling overwhelmed, although I do have some days where I'll say, you know what, this will be a good day for me to go and sweat it out. I do Bikram Yoga, so it's 105 at least in the room. It's usually a 90-minute session, and if you can balance on one leg for 60 seconds or a certain amount of time, then when you're in another stressful position, you can get through that, because that's not going to last forever either. So I have learned to incorporate things that help me every day. So even in my sessions, I'm often telling people, you can do deep breathing exercises every day. You don't have to do these things just when you're feeling stressed out, or you're trying to, prevent, verbally attacking someone. Just do these things every day. At work, maybe, take a walk if you're feeling stressed out. Essential oils tend to work. Get a diffuser. Sometimes it's these little things that work and you don't really realize how they affect you. And that's the great thing. Sometimes things can kick in naturally, and then you start to think about, well, what did I have a better day today? What did I do different? Maybe I did not answer my phone before, while I was still in bed. Maybe before you answer any calls, get up, do something. It may be meditation. maybe talk to somebody that you know is not going to stress you out or need anything from you. Maybe not take a call from
your boss at like
exactly.
8 in the morning.
Exactly. Don't check your email too soon. Just wait. You have something that you do. Incorporate some discipline. Say, okay, I'm not going to, engage in this until I do this
So
first.
it sounds like you're describing like set yourself up for success in the morning. Is that what you're describing?
Mhm. I think that is, yes, that's exactly what I'm describing, because that has worked for me. I have heard other people say that it has also worked for them. And sometimes we do it without realizing it, but we just don't do it consistently. And I think that's what we need. We need consistent discipline, not just a go-to when I'm feeling stressed out, because that's usually not as effective. But if you have that go-to, then you're equipped with tools. You can say, okay, I know this too shall pass because this is what I'm doing. This is helping me. This is helping me feel better about myself.
So if you're in a session with a client, do you actually take them through some of the deep breathing or give them some tools? Do you recommend a certain oil for them during a session or things like that?
I do. If I am burning, I have done this in my sessions, and also when I really started to notice it was in Bikram Yoga, because there's all different smells in there, of course. But in my sessions, I'll start with that. I'll have an oil burning, like if I have lavender blended with like an orange or lemon type oil, someone will say at the end, like, what's that? Maybe they're really, overly excited at first to the point where they're having a hard time relaxing, but then they sit and they start to relax. And then at the end of the session, they'll say, hey, what is that? That's, that smells good. And, I'll tell them they realize that it had a relaxing effect on them. And that's one of those things that just kind of happens. We're not always aware of them. I also had somebody say to me, I kind of put it on my yoga mat. And I have had several people say to me in Bikram Yoga, like, you always smell good. What is that? And I use like this lemongrass oil, and it really does help me, to keep going. And people seem to also benefit. I've had several people to mention it. So that's a sign that it is effective. And things like that can be very motivating and very easy to incorporate. You can have something in your car with you that will help you feel better. I've learned this from some of the doTERRA users, that my friend Nadia, she was the one who introduced doTERRA to me, and, suggest, there's things you can keep in your car. So these are things that I pass on to my clients, and it really works. Another thing I do is I don't do any physical activities like workouts with them in my session, but I incorporate that into a treatment plan.
Nice.
And I encourage people to do what works for them. Not everybody's going to do Bikram Yoga. Not everybody's going to run a 5K. That's not something. You do something that works for you, because if you're doing something that doesn't work for you, you know what, you're not going to stick to it. You're going to find a reason to say, you know what, I couldn't do that today. But anybody could take a walk.
So I want to hear a little bit more about the sessions. I don't know if there's people that are listening that maybe they haven't had a wellness psychologist that they worked with before, but the structure of what you do, I know that you do like full day programs or half day programs with professionals. So what could someone expect if they were working with you for, a day or a half a day or something like that?
So in a half-day session, and that is basically to assist people that have this idea of, I don't have time to go for a weekly session. And sometimes it really is true. It really is difficult to drive to a specific place once a week or every other week. So this half-day session will allow people to incorporate and gain some insights. First of all, gain some insights about the things that are keeping them stuck. What are the obstacles right now that are maybe making you say, I need to get out of this business, or I just can't take it anymore? Or what are the obstacles that's preventing you from moving forward? What's going on right now it's not another person, what's going on within you that's maybe keeping you stuck? The sessions will involve, it's therapy and coaching. So it will first involve, let's figure out what's going on first. Tell me about you, where you've been, where you are now, and where you're trying to go. So now let's talk about, how we're going to fix this problem. Now that we've uncovered the problem, how are you contributing to the problem? Where would you like to see yourself tomorrow, or next week? Do you want to stay in this business, or are you interested in moving into another business?
Making a life change, a big life change.
Exactly. Sometimes you can think that maybe you're doing something that's not really your passion, but you're staying in it because perhaps you have invested so much in it.
Right. So much time or education or whatever.
Exactly. So there's this idea, okay, I'm here, I've been in it for 10 years or 20 years, so now I have to stay here. Or maybe I'm at an age where I shouldn't change. So to sort of go through and say, hey, that's a myth. You have time to change. This sense of I don't have time is a myth in general, but that's for another interview. We do. We always have time, but people say that often, that I don't have time, and that creates anxiety as well. So to help them incorporate some tools, let's say, you're saying that you love this business, but right now you're just feeling stressed out. Well, what's going on? Do you still love this business, or are you creating a situation where you have to convince yourself that you love this
You're
business?
Rationalizing it.
You're rationalizing, exactly.
No, I really do love it. I totally love it.
Yeah. So, I want to give them an opportunity to address in a structured fashion, what are the obstacles right now? And, there'll even be homework involved. These are things that they can expect, from the session, a little bit of homework, tips on what to do next, and they are expected to follow these things, but also some assignments during the session. So it is something that busy professionals, business owners could really benefit.
It sounds very powerful, like a really great intensive program to get that insight and those strategies to help you break through blocks. I'm wondering, you've been doing this for some time now, and you've had so many clients, and you have your own practice. For people who are listening that are maybe just starting out as a wellness practitioner, maybe they're starting out as a psychologist or health coach or something, do you have any tips or advice about the business aspect of what you're doing and how to be successful?
Yes. Well, first off, do your homework and figure out what it is that you want to do. Do not be afraid to ask for help. I only recently started, reaching out to other people. A lot of my business was word of mouth, which is great, and I definitely appreciate that. But learn your market, learn the people, who are you interested in gaining as a client? If you're in a business like psychology, there's so much to do. There's not every psychologist sees clients, and I try to get that out there to people. There's industrial and organizational psychology. Do you want to be on that business end of it? And you can also help them with wellness. You don't have to be, as a psychologist, it's not just about therapy for people who have obvious problems. So decide what it is that you really want to do, find your passion, and find other people that are doing what it is that you want to do and connect with them. Find out, hey, if money is your goal, find out if there's money in this, but be passionate about it first, but you do want to be able to pay your bills. So find out how you're going to go about this. Connect with other people that are also doing it. Connect with people that have been successful. Work with a branding coach if that's what you need to do. Work with somebody like Dr. Gabby, and that's been in wellness for many, many years and successful. Work with like-minded people. Share your stories with like-minded people, and you'll succeed.
I love this idea of connecting and collaborating. I'm wondering, did you have to get out of your comfort zone to start to reach out and make those connections? Like, you joined my community. So what was that experience like of, either coming to my community, or I know you're involved with the National Association of, women business owners and stuff. So what's that like, that process of kind of joining community and collaborating?
It's been a different experience for me. I love socializing, so the talking with people that's never been an issue for me. But reaching out to people, saying, "Hey, let's work on this together," or because I've been one that I'm more likely to try to do it alone. Of course, I've collaborated with people on projects, but I'm usually not reaching out saying, "Hey, let's do this. How can I help you? How can you help me?" And so that's what these certain groups are about, like your group. Also, with another coach I've worked with, Amanda Miller Littlejohn, who's absolutely great. That was a completely different experience for me. And just doing these things, allowed me to see, okay, there's so much more I could be doing. It doesn't matter what degree you have. You don't have to have a degree to excel in your passion.
I need you to say that like 5 more times.
Exactly. And people need to really understand that.
That we need to drive that home. Every day I have calls with women who say, "Oh, I don't think I have the right credentials," or "I don't think I have I really want to help people, but I'm not an expert like you."
Yeah. It's not necessary. It's really unnecessary. And that is that thinking that negative thinking that gets people stuck and discouraged. And what happens is they end up doing nothing. It's not helpful at all. It's not helpful in any way to think that way, because you have skills. It's not about your degree. Your degree does not make you successful. Your degree could open some doors. Your title could open some doors, but it's not what creates your success. You create your success. So there are many people out here that I know personally that have no degrees, and they are some of the best business people out here. And, find those people if that's your situation. There's LinkedIn, there's Facebook, there's Twitter. Everybody's out here. They're more accessible than ever. Connect with those people and, just go for it. You do not need a degree or a title.
Thank you. Yeah, that's one of the most important things that I talk to people about a lot. So you mentioned these different platforms. Are you active in social media? Does that drive any business to you?
Now, one of the things that I will say, I was not as active in social media. I have become more active with social media. And yes, I have gotten some business, and I do need to increase my activity. And that's one of the things that, when you ask me about comfort zone, I'm always comfortable with people, in person. I wasn't really into, hey, let me post this, on Facebook. I've gotten more into it. I've gotten better about checking my messages. I was one that, I'll get to it next week. When I first set up my Facebook page, some years ago, I didn't have a picture for a while. And so my friends would talk about me, but it's one of those things. But once you do step outside of your comfort zone, or you learn to interact in a different way, you realize that this is great. Just from interacting with you, online, that was how our interaction started. I've become comfortable with you. I feel like I know you and some of the other ladies in our wellness group. So it really does let you know, hey, there's other ways. If I don't feel like going out today, I can, do this. I can log, I can get online. So I feel like now I have that balance. I have the online community. I have, my general.
Well done. Good job.
And I'm still growing. So it is really one of those things I've learned that it can really, really benefit you to just to try it out and see what happens. I only recently joined Twitter. I wasn't on there, so I'm there now. And so I've learned a lot I've grown a lot. I have to say within a year, I have even in that amount of time. And one of the things you said to me this week is, it seems like has been the year of networking for you. It really has, and what I would like for people to know is one of those things where I didn't wake up and say, hey, I'm going to meet all these new people. I'm going to network. It's like I just started to say, this is what I want to do to grow my business. And then I sort of just ended up in situations. It's like either the right people started to reach out to me, or I was just in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
And that's what happens, when you set your intentions. You don't need all the answers to make a plan.
Yeah.
What you need to know is what it is that you want to do.
I have like chills right now while you're talking. I'm like, yay.
So that's what self-care is all about. It's, do what makes you feel good first, not have all the answers first, feel good about something, take care of yourself, take care of your needs, and things will start to happen. Things really start to happen for you.
That's just magical. And I hope people just really take that away and really take to heart what you're saying. I totally agree with you. The universe will conspire to help you when you get really clear about what you need and what you want. And when you're nourishing yourself, then all these resources show up for you. It's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So if people are listening and they want to find you to do an intensive or to chat with you on Twitter or any of these things, how can people find you?
I am on Twitter. My Twitter is at Dr. Michele Leno, and my name is DrMicheleLeno at
Great.
Dr. Michele Leno. Also, I have a website. I have a website that's in development, so it's coming soon. Hopefully, I'll be introducing that. I have a grand opening, hopefully sometime this month or early May. But also, you can find me on LinkedIn. Again, I'm on there as Dr. Michele Leno on LinkedIn. And then also, you can email me at Leno7547@gmail.com.
Nice. And I'm sure people will find you and get in touch with you. Everything that you're doing is so powerful and can really create so much positive change for people. So I'm really grateful that you spent some time with us today and that you shared your work with us. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Gabby. Happy to be here. Thank you for the invite.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode. You can join the Women in Wellness Club at women-in-wellness.com.